Cowboys Nation just caught a rare break, and it could matter more than people realize. The latest news surrounding Dallas' search for a new defensive coordinator has taken a positive turn, easing concerns and raising optimism about the direction of the defense. The timing is huge, the options are clearer, and the front office suddenly looks to be in a stronger position than expected. The Dallas Cowboys just got some great news, and if you're a fan who's been waiting for this franchise to finally get serious about defense again, you're going to want to hear every second of this. Because what's developing right now around the Cowboys' defensive coordinator situation could quietly become one of the most important moves this team makes all offseason. And no, this isn't hype for the sake of hype. This is real momentum, real direction, and for the first time in a while, it feels like the Cowboys might actually be learning from their mistakes. Let's be honest for a moment. Over the last few seasons, the Cowboys' defense has been a roller coaster. We've seen flashes of dominance, takeaways, sack parties, and stretches where this unit looked fast, aggressive, and intimidating. But we've also seen collapses at the worst possible times. Missed assignments, soft zones, zero adjustments. Games where the defense looked completely unprepared once an opponent punched back. And when that happens year after year, it's not just about the players. It's about leadership. It's about scheme. It's about who's calling the shots. That's why this new development around the defensive coordinator role matters so much. According to multiple reports circulating around the league and strong insider buzz, the Cowboys are narrowing in on a defensive coordinator who brings something Dallas has been missing: adaptability. And that alone should get Cowboys Nation paying attention. Because for too long, this defense has felt rigid. When Plan A worked, it looked great. When it didn't, there was no Plan B. What Dallas is now targeting is a coordinator who adjusts in game, disguises coverages, and doesn't live and die by one philosophy. The biggest piece of good news here is that the Cowboys front office appears to be prioritizing experience over comfort. That's huge. Instead of recycling the same internal voices or gambling on unproven names, Dallas is reportedly looking at candidates with proven NFL resumes, people who have coordinated top-tier defenses, handled playoff pressure, and worked with multiple personnel types. That's a shift in thinking, and it's one fans have been begging for. One league source described the Cowboys' interest as aggressive but calculated. That's important. It means Dallas isn't just interviewing for optics. They're looking for a coordinator who can maximize Micah Parsons without burning him out, who can finally stabilize the secondary, and who understands that modern NFL offenses require flexibility, not stubbornness. And let's talk about Micah Parsons for a second, because this hire directly impacts him more than anyone else. Micah is a generational talent. There's no debate anymore. But even generational players need to be used correctly. One of the biggest criticisms recently has been how predictable his deployment became. Too many snaps rushing from the same spot. Too many times offenses knew exactly where he'd line up. A new defensive coordinator with creative pressure packages could unlock a completely different level of chaos. Imagine Micah moving pre-snap. Imagine simulated pressures that force quarterbacks into mistakes. Imagine disguises that don't tip coverage before the ball is even snapped. That's the type of vision the Cowboys are reportedly leaning toward, and that's why this news feels different. Another layer to this that fans shouldn't overlook is the message it sends to the locker room. Players notice when an organization settles. They also notice when it aims higher. Bringing in a respected defensive mind instantly adds credibility. It tells veterans that the team is serious about winning now, not just developing later. And that matters when you're trying to keep a core together and convince players to buy into one more run. What's also encouraging is that the Cowboys aren't just looking at one type of defense. There's been interest in coordinators with both 3-4 and 4-3 backgrounds, as well as those who specialize in hybrid systems. That flexibility could be key, especially with the personnel Dallas already has. This roster isn't broken. It's misaligned. The right coordinator can turn that around quickly. Think about the secondary. There's talent there, but it's been inconsistent. Communication breakdowns have been a recurring issue. A coordinator known for simplifying responsibilities while still being aggressive could clean that up fast. The best defenses in the league aren't always the most complex. They're the most connected. And that's something Dallas has lacked at times. Now here's where the great news really hits home. The Cowboys are reportedly willing to give this next defensive coordinator real authority. That's not something Dallas has always done. Often, coordinators are boxed in, forced to operate within certain organizational preferences. But this time, the front office understands that if you want elite results, you have to trust elite minds. Giving a coordinator control over scheme, personnel usage, and game planning is a massive step forward. And fans should appreciate this moment, because it doesn't happen often. This is the Cowboys admitting that what they've been doing defensively hasn't been enough. It's an acknowledgement that talent alone doesn't win championships. Coaching does. Adjustments do. Preparation does. Another reason this move matters is timing. The NFC is wide open. There's no unstoppable superpower right now. If Dallas can stabilize its defense, there's no reason this team can't compete with anyone in the conference. But that only happens if the defense stops being a liability in big moments. A smart coordinator can be the difference between a wild card exit and a deep playoff run. Let's not forget how quickly things can change in the NFL. One hire can transform an entire unit. We've seen it happen across the league. A defense that ranked in the middle of the pack suddenly becomes top 10 with the right scheme and leadership. The Cowboys have the pieces to do exactly that. And here's something else fans should be excited about: accountability. The rumored candidates are known for demanding discipline. Missed assignments don't get brushed aside. Effort isn't optional. That culture shift is long overdue. Because talent without accountability leads to inconsistency. And inconsistency has been the Cowboys' biggest enemy. This also helps Dallas in another way: free agency and the draft. Defensive players want to play for coaches who put them in positions to succeed. A respected defensive coordinator can attract talent. It can convince veterans to sign team-friendly deals. It can influence draft picks who know their development will be prioritized. This hire impacts more than just Sundays. Now, will this solve everything overnight? No. But it's a step in the right direction. And after years of questionable decisions, steps in the right direction matter. Cowboys fans aren't asking for miracles. They're asking for competence. They're asking for progress. And that's exactly what this news represents. What makes this even more interesting is how quiet the Cowboys have been. No leaks. No flashy announcements yet. That suggests they're doing their homework. They're not rushing. They're evaluating. And when a franchise like Dallas moves in silence, it usually means something significant is coming. The bottom line is this: the Cowboys getting great news on the defensive coordinator front isn't just another off-season storyline. It's a potential turning point. It's a chance to redefine the identity of this team. Tough. Aggressive. Smart. Adaptable. That's what Dallas has been missing. If the Cowboys get this hire right, we could be talking about one of the most impactful decisions of the year. A defense that doesn't just rely on turnovers, but controls games. A unit that shows up in January, not disappears. A team that finally complements its offense instead of putting pressure on it. So stay locked in, because this story isn't done yet. And when the official announcement comes, don't just look at the name. Look at the philosophy. Look at the track record. Because that's where the real change will show. If you're a Cowboys fan, this is the kind of news you've been waiting for. And if you're skeptical, that's fair. But for the first time in a while, there's a reason to believe the Cowboys might finally be serious about building a championship-level defense. And that could change everything.